Squeeze trying to bite me. No, what are you? Did you see him?
I did.
Yeah. He's evil. Blend bunny. Blend bunny. Hello? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video we are ranking all of my Blend Bunny cosmetics. I am so excited to go through each and every one of these palettes. Blend Bunny is one of my favorite brands, and let's get right into it. So in total I have 16 palettes, so we're gonna go ahead and start with one that I know I'm going to purchase but I don't have in my collection yet, and it is the Dollhouse palette. They just re-released this one. It is an older palette. I think it was like their second or third release, and it was beautiful, but I never got my hands on it, so I'm really excited they're re-releasing it with like their updated shimmer formula. I think it's going to be beautiful, so I do have my eyes out for that one. So to start out, in the 16th spot we have the Plastic palette. This one I really hate to put so low because in theory this should be one of my top favorite palettes. I just never reach for it. I don't know what it is. I do really like the colors in here. I like that it's a mix of neutrals with like the pinky tones. I really love this shade over here in Shallow. That one is beautiful. I think it's just because it doesn't look like my other Blend Bunny palettes, and so in my brain I just don't associate it, and so I forget that I own this one. So I do want to be more intentional about using it. What I do use this for though is when I go traveling, I like to pop these pans out and then I replace them with other Blend Bunny shades, so it does get used in my collection, just not as its own palette. So I do want to be more intentional about using this one. The next one is a little bit controversial, but it is the Beauty Below palette. Again, it's not that I don't like the palette, because this should be one of my top favorites. Just looking at the colors in here, I love the blues, the purples, the pinks. These tones are literally the same ones that I'm wearing on my eyes right now. This is a different palette, but in theory I should absolutely love this one, and I never reach for it. I don't know what it is. I think maybe I'm going to play with the layout of it a little bit. I think I want to pop some of these pans out and kind of reorganize it and see if that kind of inspires me a bit. I don't know what it is about this palette because I should love it. I love all of the colors individually. I just never end up reaching for this one. In the 14th spot, I have the Garden of Stars palette in collaboration with Ellis Atlantis. This one is so beautiful, really. Like, the shimmers in here are insane. I love all of the different shimmer choices in this one. It's a really beautiful palette. I just always have to pair it with something else, and because of that, if I have a different palette that has beautiful shimmers in it anyway, I'm not going to go out of my way to reach for this one. So for that reason, it's kind of closer to the bottom. Number 13 is the All Done Up palette. This one is an older palette from them, but it is lovely. It is one of my favorite neutral palettes in my collection. Specifically this gold, kind of brown gold row right here. Beautiful. Anytime I want a gold, this is the first thing that I think of, truly. I really do enjoy this palette. Again, it just doesn't get enough use. Kind of is smaller than the other Blend Bunny palettes, and so it kind of gets pushed to the bottom. So I think I want to pull this one out pretty soon because there's a lot of beautiful shades in here, and this is, I think, when Blend Bunny really started changing their shimmer formula. So these ones are so sparkly. They're really gorgeous. Palette is the Lure palette. I want to love this one. I do. I want to love it. And I really love the mattes in here. Obviously their matte formula is stunning, but the shimmers in this one, I'm just not sold on. This was before they changed their shimmers, I'm pretty sure. Yes, this was before they changed their shimmers, and they're pretty. They just don't have like the impact that I want. That one actually swatched really pretty though. I'm sorry, am I making this up? Did I think that this palette didn't have good shimmers and it actually does? What is happening? Okay, I'm leaving this one out on my vanity because I'm going to use this tomorrow, because now we need to investigate. I've always thought that this one had shimmers that I wasn't a fan of, but swatching those, they are so sparkly and beautiful. What have I been confusing this palette with? Number 11 is the Primal palette. This one is unfortunately discontinued. This palette was created to kind of fill in the gaps of the Blends palette. So I had these beautiful jewel tone shimmers, and then all of these kind of in-between shades that you didn't have in the Blends palette. The shimmers in here are very metallic, not sparkly, they are just very shiny and metallic. And these shimmers have more depth to them, and I tend to like a brighter, glowier shimmer. So for that reason, I don't really find myself reaching into this one. But I do want to get more use out of this one because I really do like the mattes in here. I think that the shades that were chosen here are absolutely gorgeous. And maybe if I'm feeling a little bit more adventurous, I'll try some of these jewel tone shades out. I really do go for like glowier shimmers. So maybe I need to dip my toes in the water of like jewel tones. In the number 10 spot is the Divination palette that was in collaboration with Robert Welsh. I've used this palette quite a bit. It was one of the ones that I put in like my palette rotation. So I was constantly pairing these shades with other things. It is really, really beautiful. I think that there's just a lot of depth and grunge to this one, and sometimes I just really like playing with bright pops of color, so I don't find myself thinking of this one. It is really beautiful when I want something a little bit deeper, a little bit grungier, which I have been getting into more recently, but I do really love my bright pops of color, and this one is more subdued, grungy, kind of deeper tones, and for that reason it's just not as high. Palette number 9 is the Longing palette. This one is gorgeous. I always said that I wasn't a cool toned person, but I think I really am because I keep wanting to go back to this palette. Didn't use it for quite a while because I was kind of intimidated by the shades in here. I really loved the concept and I really loved how these shades swatched and how they looked on other people. I was just terrified to use them on myself, and I got this palette to kind of push myself out of that because I was dabbling a bit in cool tones. So this is one that I definitely want to play with more, and I can see it moving up in the rankings once that happens because I have been more into cool tones, and these have beautiful shades in them. Kind of the same complaint that I had about the Robert Welsh Divination palette, which it's not really a complaint, but it's just about personal preference. This one is very subdued, toned down, almost desaturated colors, so they're not bright, poppy, in your face. That tends to be what I go for most of the time. So again, it's just a little bit lower because it doesn't have those bright pops. The number 8 palette is the Lens palette. I think this one was also discontinued recently. I don't know if it's still available, but it is gorgeous. I've rearranged mine, and I just used this one to make a Pride Month look. My thoughts on this one are kind of fresh in my mind still. I really do enjoy this palette. I think it's so beautiful. I think that the shades, again, are just a little bit off from what you would expect them to be. There's just like a little bit of twist to it, and I really appreciate that. The one thing I will say is that this one is primarily matte. There's only 2 shimmer shades up here, and they're both kind of toppery. So if you'd like a lot of sparkle and a lot of shine, you might want to pair something else with this palette because it is predominantly matte, but it is really gorgeous. And I had a lot of fun using this one. Right here at our halfway point is the Psilocybin palette. This one is very new to my collection. I have only done 2 looks with this one. Yes, I've done 2 looks with this one. Really beautiful. This is another one where I think it will move up in the ranks just once I've had more time to love on it a little bit. I just haven't had it for very long, so it would seem disingenuous to put it immediately like in one of my top palettes because I really haven't used all of the shades in here. What I will say is that the shades that I have used, stunning, so gorgeous. This shade right here is like almost neon. It's so beautiful. I had so much fun using this palette, and I really love the mix of colors in here. It's like these acidic, crazy neon fungus shades, and then you have some deeper kind of neutral tones with like the grays and these browns. They're so beautiful. I cannot wait to keep using this palette, and I really can see it moving up in the ranking in the future. Palette number 6 is the Machina palette. This one was also discontinued, unfortunately, because I love this palette so much. It's so beautiful. Like I keep saying about these palettes, there's just something a little bit unexpected about them. And I will say, I think that this one will pair beautifully with Psilocybin. There's something about these color stories. I think that they would look so gorgeous together, especially like these deeper mossy greens. That would be so pretty. There is one shade in here that overlaps the shade in Cyborg. It was brought back as the shade Psychonaut in the Psilocybin palette. So if you really love this shade, it is in that new palette. But unfortunately, this one was discontinued. It's just really beautiful. Really like just the weird tones that are in this one. I don't really have these tones anywhere else in my collection. I think that this row specifically, this kind of like blurple row, so pretty. We have now moved into my top 5, and in the number 5 spot is the Sickly Sweet palette. This is the original rendition of it. They have redone this palette, and I believe they took out kind of these like neon mattes. I don't remember which shades they took out of this. It is smaller now because they took out 5 of the shades. I think it was a problem with sourcing the pigments, but I'm so glad to have the original. It's so beautiful. It is one of my favorite pastel palettes ever. And what I really like about this one specifically is because it does have super light pastels, kind of medium depth. You have the neons, you have the deep tones, and you have sprinkles of shimmers. Like, it's so versatile for a pastel palette that it really works so well. Number 4 is the Surge palette. I think this one was actually their second release. I think Dollhouse was 3. This one was the second release, and it is gorgeous. Blend Bunny has come such a long way since this palette, but I really I wish that they can bring this one back one day, and they won't bring it back because of this row of neons down here, which is my favorite part of the palette. But again, they can't source these pigments anymore, and Maggie doesn't want to bring it back unless it's in its fullest glory. So hopefully one day we can see this palette back, but it is stunning. Again, you have kind of these grungier tones, you have these shimmers, the neons. The shimmers in here aren't my favorite. I think the only one that I really like is this one in Flash. The rest of them are kind of satiny, like they're fine. It just doesn't have the impact that their newer shimmers have. But these neons are everything. They're so beautiful. I can't get enough of them. We are now in the top 3. In the 3rd spot is the Ellis palette. This one is number 1, huge, giant, ginormous. Incredible how large this palette is. But there's so much variety in here. Hopefully you can see this palette in its fullest glory. It is insane. This is a huge palette. So much variety, so many different tones, so many different depths. I really love this palette. And then right down the middle, we have like toppery shades. This shade in the Engineer, crazy beautiful. I love that shade. Yeah, honestly, I could just stare at this palette all day. It is so gorgeous. It is the complete rainbow and then some, because like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to love. I can't say enough good things about this one. I love this palette. The number 3 and the number 2 spot, I kept going back and forth which one was going to be in which place. They're really tied in my mind, but in the number 2 spot, I have the Blends palette. This is the OG one. They've redone it in their kind of masterclass packaging, and it now has shimmers, but this is the original one. And mine is quite old. I bought this one back when I bought the Surge palette, so it is very old in my collection, but it's just beautiful. It's just such a staple palette, and the reason I put this one above the Ellis one is just the size. Truly, the Ellis one is just so huge. I would never travel with that palette, but this one, I literally just traveled with it when I went on a cruise, and it was perfect. It did every single thing. It really helped me fall back in love with this palette all over again. It really did every single thing that I could possibly need. It had all of the shades. It had literally the complete rainbow. This palette is so good, and I'm so glad that they kind of put it in their masterclass lineup. I do really like the compact size of this one, and I do think that the new packaging is larger. Not as large as the Ellis one, I don't think, but it is a bit larger than this. I just really love the compact nature of this with so much variety. And in the number 1 spot, this was kind of like a no-brainer to me. As soon as I was going into this video, I was like, okay, this one's gonna be number 1. And I really didn't think about anything else. This is the Rotten palette that's in collaboration with May Pang. So beautiful. So beautiful. There was another palette that went with this collection, but I actually have it with my highlighters, the Efflorescence palette. So I don't have it in this ranking because I do use it pretty much as highlighter, but this is the Rotten palette. Oh, I did reorganize mine, so I'll say that. This one kind of does what I thought Divination would do, right? Because it has like these grungy tones, but they're also so vibrant. And that's why I really love this one, because you have vibrant shades and depth and grunginess. It's just so gorgeous. You can use this palette to create a very deep, dark, grungy look. You can use it to create a rainbow. Like, it is so versatile. I think that they knocked it out of the park with this palette. I think it should be a part of their permanent lineup. I can't imagine people not being able to get their hands on this one. It is really so stunning. And with that, we have our final ranking of all 16 of my Blend Bunny palettes. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and comment, subscribe to my channel. You can also check me out over on my Instagram. It is makeup_Erica, or you can check me out on TikTok, which is makeup Erica, all one word. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I would love to know what your #1 Blend Bunny palette is. Love hearing other people's thoughts and seeing everybody's different preferences. So drop me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.